So I'm back. This is day 14. Not even about to calculate right now how many more days I have remaining. Let's not think about that. That's not important. What's important right now is getting the rest of this color palette finished. I may go back later and label, if you can even see it on my mouse, these secondary colors. I think I look back at all the characters. I can remember these colors on this side of the flats very easily. These right here are all secondary colors. I may or may not even use those in the first place, and though these are kind of not as important to me, they're just good to keep in mind. At a later date, I may label these. I may not. These is not a word. Anyways, I may label them. I may not. These colors here, I have a good, like, I can look at this off top and tell that that's his skin. Those are the wristbands and his belt. That's the little, I don't want to call it a skirt, but whatever the thing is that he wears, replacing pants. And then that's the, almost like his little third eye. I can already tell just by looking at these which colors are supposed to be on the character. In Jupiter, for example, that's the pads on the vest. That's the shoulder thingies on the vest. Here's the hair. Here's the skin color. Okay, maybe I do need to label these. I don't know which color this is because I'm not looking at the character right now. Oh, the visor. Okay. For me, most of their base colors are simple. I can do a good job of remembering each character's like base colors. It's these secondary ones off to the side over here that starts to get squirrely, but like I said, those aren't as important to me because I'm trying to get in the habit of, depending upon the scene and the environment, sort of changing the shading of the character as I need to. I kind of did that in chapter 4, which is why I had to remember on occasion not to pull some of those colors as base colors for the characters, because those colors aren't accurate anymore. Okay, I'm trying to place this accurately. But here, I don't need this to be this even. I don't know why I'm doing that. But we'll work on Raekwon. So I'm going to start with Raekwon's color palette, and we'll go from here. Making sure I got the right brush. Okay. Alright, now that was the skin color. There's no reason to really touch that. Actually, there's some panels where his hair is a dark brown. I kind of like that from a shading standpoint, but that's a highlight issue. I'll get to that when I do the highlights and the shadows. The eyes and the hair are pretty much the same color, so I don't need to take that twice. So, okay, the OCD's kicking in again. Is my hand shaking? Like, why is keep doing that? The rings on his wrists, I don't know what to call these, but they look cool to me, so whatever. His gloves, and that's it. Oh, the necklace. Just sort of like a off white almost. Like I said, it changes highlights, so I want that to be brown. The shadows, you wouldn't see it anyways. His hair is black. Shadows for his skin. Actually have a more intense shadow now. Okay, do that for the highlight. Shadow. The shadow would essentially be black, so is that. And then the highlight on anything pretty much is purple. These are not lined up well. It's not bothering me as much as the other ones do, but I'll live with it, I guess. So the highlight on the gauntlets be pretty close to white. Why am I shaking? Why am I shaking? Didn't want to do that too close to the rest of the purple. I damn sure lose that one. And we're good. Layout, I copied it. I'm not actually making one for Kanzi, I already have. Next up would be Meta. And it's the final one of the 3 Nizu characters that I have in my comic. I'm using Meta this way. So, pick up these colors. Like I said, he's the last of the Nizu characters that I have to do. The other 2 being Genie Nizu and Beaumont. Just thinking about Beaumont always brings a smile to my face. Probably hands down the most ridiculous character. That was a lie. In any event, I was about to lie and say he was the most ridiculous character in my comic. That is not true. And that would actually be hard to figure out who would be the most ridiculous character in my comic. Probably be easier to figure out the serious characters, but I'll go shaking again. Whatever these fringe things are on the hat. Oh boy, these are about to be a lot of colors. Okay. Oh no, they're not, because these are pretty much all the characters, all the same colors over and over again. So, see, this is why the color palette is somewhat easy for me to remember. Most of these colors are the same ones in repeat, so I know which ones to click on and which ones not to click on, simply because they're used over and over and over. The ones that are kind of off sort of stick out. So Meta may actually have the largest color palette so far. Now that I say that, Meta might be a serious character in the comic for the most part. Him and Raekwon. Think him, Raekwon, Alexis, and Val might be the only serious one, and every other one has an air of ridiculous to them. Yeah, these are way more. God, this is sloppily shaded. This sort of crude way of coloring though was my style for a long time, because I was intentionally making my artwork look crude. At some point I said maybe I shouldn't be doing that in my comics, so I stopped, and it's helped out a lot. I keep doing that. I need to be doing I did tell myself to do the highlights before I did the other colors. Why do I keep shaking? Well, because I use this color green so much. For the sake of doing it, I'm going to use this green for a highlight, and then this green for a shadow. That might be a tad bit too intense. Yeah, I think I would have to go back and label some of these, as if I was to use them. Meta's colors, his secondary colors are blending in way too much. Like I said, I can look at his base colors, I can look at and pick out pretty easily, but these secondary ones here, not so much. So I'm gonna have to go back at some point, and probably after I end this video, simply because it'll still be fresh in my mind. Now would be a good time to let everybody know, if you're not subscribed, to please go ahead and subscribe. My alarm would like to tell you that as well. Also, go ahead and like the video. Have to start reminding people to do that and making a point to say that, because as I always say, YouTube is never going to let you know that these videos exist without it. Yeah, there's only one color left, and it would be the gemstone in the center. It says Genie, Nizu, Jupiter, Raekwon, and Meta. Next will be Val. I think all villains is what remains for me. Yeah, I think the remaining 4 characters of my comic are all villains. So let's hammer that out. Make sure that's accurate before I continue. Don't skip over anybody. Ah, I did. So there's Dan, good old Dan Van Dam, with 2 N's and 2 M's. Because why not, of course. So this is what I was getting ready to touch on earlier. If find it fascinating that some of you actually work on your own comics while having my videos play in the background. That's kind of surreal to me, considering I do that as well a lot of times. It'll either be me listening to other people talking about their artwork, or if people are almost throwing out ideas or concepts that are starting to not necessarily help my thought process, but it's conflicting it and I'm overthinking things, I'll shut that off and play, like, I don't know, gaming streams or like video game soundtracks or something along those lines. The sweater tied around. Everything else would still be pretty much the same color. Wow, very simple color palette for Dan. I appreciate that. Very simple color palette considering how large Metas just was. So Dan will actually be the last hero that I do a color palette for. Everyone else will pretty much be a villain. Also use the term hero very loosely with Dan. Take a read out of my comic, you'll know why very, very shortly after he appears. So I appreciate I got to do just a tad bit of character development with Dan in chapter 3. Not much, but it was there. Wow, I love Dan. Like, this is very simple color palette. Okay, and finally will be Vile. Alright, Vile. This should be kind of a similar color palette too, simply because his colors are mainly black. Goatee and his eyes are black. It's a lighter shade of gray. Don't need to necessarily go back to it. And a gemstone should be similar to Beaumont's. It'd be much easier if I just took the color from Beaumont, because that needs to match. And I guess I'm gonna do this for a secondary highlight. No, I'm not. I'm not about to start confusing myself any more than I already need to. Highlighted the shoulder pads, the shadow of the shoulder pads, highlighted the torso. Okay. I actually picked up on that color fairly quickly, so memory's not as bad as I give it credit to being. Make sure I was not forgetting anything. Nope. That's Vile. See, go to Switchblade. Also, for those who also follow along and like my art style or interested in my comic, the links are in the description. Well, it'd be nice if I could get that out accurately, right? The link to my comic is in the description. You can buy physical copies if you want. You can go to Tapas if you're on Tapas, or you could go to Webtoon if you're on Webtoon. Next would be, we'll round out these last few characters. Next would be Switchblade. It would be this golden gentleman here. Alright. Had to change that because I couldn't see any of the colors for him. Wonder how many times I'm going to go back and have to adjust it. That's another. Oh, I lose everything that way. Okay, never mind. Whatever this is wrapped around the mask, I actually don't have a name for that. It's about to say bandana. That's not right, but I'll just say that for now. He has 2 separate grays, 2 separate yellows, and that's pretty much his entire color scheme. Okay. A highlight for the mask, the wrap, the bandana, whatever you want to call that thing. Cloth piece. Yep, that's it. I was sitting looking at 5 colors, but I only have 4 sets of highlights. The eyes don't have any shading to them. So that's a wrap for Switchblade. Don't know why I felt the need to do that. So this one I should have a few more colors. Sai actually has hair, so I need to take that into account. Shading for the metallic part of him. At least the upper part is the exact same as Switchblade's, so there's nothing to do there. His eyes are light blue. Once again, this little mask thingy part, whatever, pick out that blue. The secondary armor is actually dark blue for him. And the secondary color for his sash would be a borderline tealish color, or at least a dark teal. Actually, no. That's a dark gray down at the bottom. Okay. The shadow, slightly darkened. Highlights for the other metal piece. Okay, there should be 2 extra colors because of the hair. Alright. And that is making sure everything is on the up and up here. Yes, okay. And that side. Yes, I pretty much named the 3 of them almost exclusively after Japanese weapons. The Switchblade, Sai, and Kunai. Let's see here. Then when I organize these colors in a way to where if I need to work on a specific couple of characters in a particular page, I can just select them out of the group wherever they are and just move them so that it's easy for me to find. Just click and move as I need to. Well, for her hair, it's the same color as size. Pick that one off. I love the way these characters look, by the way. These were my funnest designs. Her upper mask is slightly different. There's a hint of purple in hers. So maybe I won't be picking out the same colors after all. And then there's that last part for her legs. Okay. So the layout of her colors is very similar to Sai's, but the actual colors themselves are different. Okay. See, hair highlights will pretty much be the same, so the hair highlights. Why does this bother me so much? Just want it to be even. Yeah, this is what I mean when I say my OCD kicks in. This is exactly what I'm talking about. There's no reason for me to go back that many times for that. That was not worth it. That doesn't bother me that it's not lined up. I'm not fixing, I'm not hitting the undo button. I'm just gonna keep telling myself that. So the shadow, and next would be the highlight here. And the shadow here. And lastly would be the sash. So I'll just say, what the hell are these last 2 colors are sticking out here? Yeah, because that's similar to the one down there for Sai. And there we have it. Just to show its full characters out. Okay, so have all the color palettes completed. Have all the colors completed for the color palette, I should say. So I'll figure out where to go from here. I think next will pretty much be me storyboarding. I'm actually still gonna do a bit of storyboarding tonight anyways, because I'm not gonna finish that all in one day. Or thumbnailing. I don't know, maybe I can, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna just work on it. If at some point tomorrow I'm still having to do, because I'm trying to talk out loud and figure out what I'm gonna be doing for day 15, because either I'm gonna be somehow recording my thumbnails, or I will be actually working on the cover for chapter 5. So leave tomorrow's problems for tomorrow's me. All right, anyways, that's day 14. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out.